I used to know that okra do have thorns on the body. I grew up knowing that onions, while cutting it, it causes tears from you. The banana I used to know while I was very tender. They were not so long and fatty. I woke up one day to ask myself, why do they call this coconut in my language as aki beke? Aki beke. I also asked myself, why do they call this ube beke? I don't even trust plantains that I see around me. The sugar I used to know, while it's inside that blue box paper, blue small carton, ants will still come inside it no matter how much you tie it. But the sugar that I have today, even when it is open, I was very shocked that the sugar I left on my table, no single ant visited it. Not one. The sugar was just like that. What about the eggs? I almost asked, are there no doctors who will truly come out to tell the people that these eggs we take, which are not natural, which are chemically grown, which the fowls that lay them are chemically breeded, to tell us that these things are not healthy to our body? We just see them roam around, but they don't want to point. Is it that their own, level of doctor that they have learned are not allowed, to do some research to find out or use their common sense and come to a conclusion that this is not good to the body? You really need research for you to come to a conclusion that something which was chemically grown is not good to the body. Do you need science to prove that, or just the common sense? Around 2014, yes, I remember very well. I went for a conference and I visited my cousin while I was there. Earlier before 2014, I think maybe around 2010 or 2012, I once told a cousin of mine that she should stop wearing bra that has metal inside it. Fast forward to 2014, when I visited her, she told me that she was not feeling well, that they say she has breast cancer. I was shocked earlier. And then I reflected back to what I said. And I told her, this is what I suspect that is the problem. I am not a doctor. But in most cases, I use my common sense. Metals rust. And they're not even good to enter the body. And this is a metal. And each time you wash this bra, the metal rusts and it keeps rusting inside it. And when it dries, the metal is there. And when you soak it again in water, the metal is also there. It's still there. And then you keep wearing this 24 hours, is on your body, attached to your body. I don't need science to tell me that this is not good to the body. I just need my common sense to say that. But as I'm not a doctor, she didn't even give a listening ear to me. She didn't have any conviction to believe me. And then after a while, I went for my conference and traveled back. It's like about 2 weeks or maybe a month when she called me and told me that, do I remember what I told her about the breast cancer? I said, yes. He said, do I know that was exactly what her doctor told her? And I was like, really? Well, that was when she came to believe, because a doctor told her. You see, many things that are happening to people today, even if they're eating worms, as long as the doctors have not said it, they don't want to use their common sense. Christmas is approaching. People have started breeding the fowls, those chickens. They have started rearing them, feeding them with those chemicals and all those things. 3 months, 4 months, they become so large and big. Their labs are large and big. And that's the type we want to come and chill.
Oh my God! Wow!
To enjoy something that is chemically filled and grown. Do you really need a professor to tell you that this is not good to your body? Do you need a professor to medically prove it to you without your sight? Can something that is chemically grown be what you choose over the natural ones? And then we are looking for the source of most of these diseases springing up everywhere. We are looking for the cause of these common diseases everywhere now. If you really don't know the source, why don't you trace back to when these diseases started making names? Why don't you trace back what changed? Because whatever that is disturbing you inside your body is what you took inside your body. It is not spiritual. It is what you use your hand and take and put inside your body. It is what was attached to your body. If it did not come close to your body, if it does not enter into your stomach or into your body, it will not disturb from inside your body. So what have you been taking into your body?
Cassava, àgbàdo, corn.
What is that food that we started taking, which we were not taking before. And a boy, young man, back in the 2020, I guess, told me that his grandmother told him that when the white people came, they gave her some seed of rice. They gave her 4 seeds and they asked her to plant it, that it is good to eat. And then I asked myself, if as far back as when she mentioned, I mean, this guy told me this in 2020, not that that is when it happened. He said when the white people came to her as the grandmother of this young man. So that brings the attention to me that so even rice that we eat, it's not a natural or one of our local foods. It's high time we trace back the origin of certain foods we have been eating and think it's normal. You see all those foods that were imported, all those foods that can only be traced back to when the white men came, all those foods that were introduced by the white men. You see apple, that apple you eat, eh, that you prefer over the orange grown in your compound. See that apple, frozen fish, those multitude of fish that you see them plenty stored in cold rooms. That makes me to really wonder, why do they call this aki beke? Why did they call this aki oyibo? Why did they call this ube beke? And why do we still have ube? If this is actually ube beke, that is the white pears and then the white coconut, then that means it wasn't grown here. It wasn't a local food. What am I trying to say? I may not have a concrete, source. I may not know the origin of this, but through the name, because one thing I know about Igbo is that we name things according to their origin, according to their meaning, according to their source. And that helps us to really trace back. That is why when you see people answering a particular name, once you hear the name, you'll be able to trace back where that person is coming from, the family is coming from. That's why in a village like this, you'll be wondering how one old man, immediately you mention your name, he knows where you're coming from. He will tell you your history. That's how we name things. So knowing that this is Akibeke and this is Ubebeke, I could easily believe that this was introduced by the white man. And anything coming down from these white men, I don't trust them. If only we can have some good group of researchers who will really bring down these things, trace back when these diseases started coming, even malaria, to trace back when they started, and to trace back also when certain foods were imported, were introduced to us, you will see that most of these things could be traced back to only when these foods were introduced. And then, since then as well, pharmaceutical stores began to have many branches, all over. People can now become a pharmacist, and before you know it, he's riding many cars, having many branches. Is that supposed to be a good thing? Is that supposed to be a good thing? That the pharmaceutical stores are increasing. Is that supposed to be a good thing? I also remember some years back when I visited an uncle in a university. He's a lecturer there. He was under the Department of Agriculture. And then when we visited his place, we saw hundreds of catfish. I guess it's catfish it's called. Hundreds of catfish being reared. And they were being given those chemicals constantly. They have a way they are training it from day one to day this. You give them this from day three to day this. You know those kind of things. I need no science to let me know that as long as this is fed with chemicals, they won't be good for my body. And you know what? It irritates me even back then, and I don't take them. What about imported wines? What about imported wines? The wines that we have honored more than or beyond palm wine. You see. Also, I traveled to another place again of another let's say a relative, not really a relative, but someone I know. Someone I know. I saw him. I saw a young man in his house rearing these fishes. These fishes were more than thousands, and they said in less than a few months, it's going to be big, everywhere be filled, and then lots of money. We are just interested about the money. We're not interested to pick the point that these things are not healthy to the body. You can't expect this thing that is fed with chemicals to actually give you the required nutrients your body needs, or the normal nutrients the natural fish will give to you. It's not possible. This goes to even our cassavas, our other farm seedlings. We try to add these chemicals to them. Even there is this set of people who come to spray things on the farm in the name of insects. In the name of insects. And I asked myself, is this not chemical? Like, I mean, this is chemical, right? Now, like, this chemical cannot enter your mouth, but it's being sprayed on the plants to fight against what? To fight against insects or diseases or be. So is this not also a disease being thrown into? Is there no other way? Like the plants we have been using in the olden days, was this thing sprayed on it? Didn't we get enough foods? Why those chemicals on these plants in the name of clearing or chasing away the insects? If only we can trace back from when we started all these applications of chemicals to our foods. If we can trace back the origin of certain foods in our lands, if we can trace back when certain foods were introduced to us, it will really go a long way to detect when some of these diseases started. And you will realize, you will be shocked to know that these diseases, or most of these diseases, can only be traced back to when these foods were introduced to us. It's not a magic. Every time I come online, I can see a donation for liver problem, kidney problem, heart failure, this and that. And I'm asking myself, how? When did these things start like this? When? How? Since when? Since when? And we have a people who are called, what's it called? NAFDAC, as in Nigeria. We have them in other countries with their own names. The funny thing is that some of us don't understand what is happening. We don't understand what is happening. The so-called World Health Organization under United Nations, that United Nations have an agenda to depopulate Africa. And they have mapped out several strategies to do this. Back in 2011 or to 2015, within that range, they published their article. And this was about, it's called the 21 Depopulation Agenda. These were a list of strategies mapped out to use to do what? To depopulate Africa. And you know what? Not just Africa actually, but mainly blacks. So mainly blacks. And a total number of 350,000 were mapped out, like an agreement to be, unalived daily. Can you imagine that? How many will be in a month? And you know what? It's not only by the foods we eat, but in wars. Both wars, tribal wars, they have created means, all patterns to use and what ignite this death. Both through the contraceptives, the foods we take, tribal wars, so many strategies that are contained inside it. In fact, that was where I saw that even the Ebola, which we all cried, Ebola was inside the list. It was among what they have designated. And the man who made it, who created the disease, you wouldn't believe that these diseases were created. That is why when COVID-19 started, they are telling people don't use their senses. People don't think. Each time this one will come out, you don't think. How is it that this thing came last time and it was named this? How come it's always these white people that knows the name? They already know the name. They already finding solution. They already did this. Why is it always them? How many of these diseases came from your country? How many of them originated? They can only lay allegation that it's from your country, but it's not. These things were, something that was personally crafted, personally engineered, medically modified to do what? To unalive you, to take away your life. And you know what? These people who are called the United Nations, your country is also among them. And the World Health Organization is under them. And your own national health organization, their own country's Department of Health is under them. They are following their procedures. So that means that agenda would certainly be administered inside your own country. That is why they have those organizations. Those organizations is not to, protect what you eat. No. Those organizations was to be able to, make you feel relaxed that there is a set of people who are interested in protecting the food I eat. But no, that's not it. These people, that's why any food that is being brought out to be sold to the public will pass through these people. And if it's passing these people already have a rule, have laws that they tell them that any food that is going to the public should have a quantity of so this, a quantity of so that inside the food or inside that thing they are about to produce to the public. And so when we eat, certainly a quantity of that particular chemical or something they have agreed to put in every food that will be approved. So whenever your food is about to be approved as NAFDAC approved, that substance or whatever they have agreed will be there. Because of what the target is, what to reduce the population, not to give you life, not to maintain your life. They want things that will bring down your life, to bring down the population and by deaths. So is such organization a good one? Okay, you will say, oh, how is it? I remember back in 2015, 2015, a friend of mine released an article. Uh, and inside that article, I got a document. That document shows where the then president, Yaradua, that's back in 2015, if I'm correct, the then President Yaradua, signed into the New World Order. The then president of Nigeria, President Musa Yaradua, signed the United Nations agreement into the New World Order. Now, if you search about the New World Order, you see them claiming that this is not about New World Order, this is about SDG. You ask yourself, why are they trying to defend that word? They call it conspiracy theory. But we all know what is going on. It was properly signed in that year. So that means that any country under this agreement will follow the rules of this SDG, which is the New World Order. And the New World Order has a 21 depopulation agenda to depopulate the world. It means that your country have automatically signed and approved what? Your debt. And if you think it's a lie, why are they bringing the GMOs? Why are they bringing the GMOs? Why are they bringing the so-called medicine for COVID-19? You see, they go to create a disease and they bring the antidotes and force your country. Imagine Bill Gates telling you that any country that did not accept his medicine, they will not receive support from IMF. Do you see? Also, in the same 2015, I got a news, and the news was that millions of mosquitoes, millions of genetically modified mosquitoes, this time around it's not genetically modified organics, but genetically modified mosquitoes. Mosquitoes were released into Africa. Millions of it were released into Africa, and they tagged it to be tested to help combat malaria. Huh? So that tells you that some of the mosquitoes around you now are not natural mosquitoes, but they are what? They were genetically modified. Genetically. Do you really understand the meaning of gene? Of course, you should go and do your own research about what is a gene. This is something that can change your traits, change your reasoning, change your personality, change how you think, change the inner self of your body, change everything about you. You begin to behave a different way. You begin to act a different way. You become something that is different from your natural self. You will be behaving according to what they have modified it to, and no longer what you are or what a human being, a natural human being is. So the mosquitoes, which were genetically modified, when they come, you're not trying to tell me that they are not biting you. They are now biting the other mosquitoes. Wow, such a help. And at the same time, you're telling me that you have an agenda to depopulate. And then I should believe that the one you have created was coming to save me. How is this working together? You have an agenda to depopulate the world, and you have sent something claiming you came to save me. Who is a child? Who is a child? So let's connect the dots. The same 2015, which Nigeria was signed into the New World Order, and that the New World Order, which have the 21 depopulation agenda, and one of them is to depopulate, to take away your life. That's in 2015. Oh. And then the same 2015, millions of mosquitoes were released into Africa, genetically modified mosquitoes. That's in the same year. You can search about it, you may see it. You see, some of these things, you may not really have idea of it until when someone or you hear about it, then you see, oh, wait, then let me go and check. And you see that this is something that's even public. That's why they tell you information is power. Now, there's another important thing I want to explain to you. You see, they are talking about GMO foods, GMO maize, GMO cassava, GMO tomato, GMO cucumber, and a lot of things, a lot of GMO things, which some of them, especially the GMO foods, GMO maize, they are claiming that they want to introduce it and that it's in your government, the government is deliberating on it. Now, let me tell you something. Your government is not deliberating on anything. This has been in existence already. They have been in existence. Now they have already done these things, and most of them are already inside our market. They are already being sold as per another species of maize, as per another species of tomato, as per another species of cucumber. And you think it's just from maybe from the northern side or from this other side, these people's type of. No, it is not. These are the GMO already in the market, but you didn't know. They already poured it there, and then they now come to tell you that, oh, they are deliberating on it, and then you can now see your reactions. They are watching your reactions where you are saying, no, we no go agree, and they are laughing. You think that you have power of decision, meanwhile it's already effected. That action is what they called fait accompli. And why are they so concerned about infiltrating our agricultural system? Why are they so concerned? Why are they always placing consequences? If our government refuse to accept maybe their injections or their medicines, why are they always concerned? Why are they always banned on any country that refuses their deal? Why? That tells you they are up to something. Are you trying to tell me that there's no places in their countries like America, Britain, or some of those European countries? Trying to tell me that there's no some hungry people there of their own citizens sleeping along the streets? Why are they interested in you? Why not themselves? If there could be, as far as 2015, a document signed into the New World Order, and which the New World Order or the so-called SDG has a plan, which is Act 21 Depopulation Agenda, and which one of the agenda is about how to take away your life. And this is about 2015 backwards. And then there was another one far back 2015. If there was something called GMO mosquitoes, GM mosquitoes, genetically modified mosquitoes. And then why do you think it's actually a new thing now? That's what I told you. It is called fait accompli. Something has already been done far back, far back. And then you think that it is in your power. You are part of those who will take decision, who will decide over the thing. It's just like an election where they have already decided who will win, and then you are killing yourself. Talking about your PVC, talking about you vote this, you vote that. Like, it's as if it's a joke. Even you deceive yourself. You deceive yourself too. Because as long as I know, I am being told that as an how many times would you allow something to happen to you and repeatedly happen to you before you can learn sense? And I also know this proverb that says that you must not allow a snake to bite you twice in a particular point. These are things to teach you a lesson, to make you think back. What is really going on? A lot of videos actually is coming up now about the GMO. It has been done. It has been done. I think maybe this one will shock you a little. It's not today thing. You don't think that you are making videos about GMO to stop it. No, it's already in the system. It's already there. It's already there. Not only in Nigeria. This same thing is happening in other countries. It's happening in other, especially African countries, including the gay. Just like, for example, you think they are trying to deliberate in your Senate, in your government houses, to decide whether gay will be allowed. Something that is already implemented. It's already approved. And they're just to make you feel alright. Just to make you feel alright. If you understand what a government is, you see, the problem is not the government. They are like one musician called them puppet governments. Puppet governments. They are not the one ruling you. There's another set of people ruling you up there. There are a lot of things around us which are not healthy, both to our body and our system entirely. A lot of them, not just food, so not just the GMO foods which are already in circulation. There are a lot of them. I'm not a scientist, I'm not a whatever, but like I told you, there are some things you don't need science to understand. There are some things you don't need, calculation before you can understand them. See how we have been shouting about a lot of things, and you think they don't matter, but you see, everywhere, hospital, disease this, disease that, liver issue, kidney issue. Oh, so much of them. So much of them. We need to really look into what is around us. They are taking our lives. They are taking our lives, and we need to put attention to them. All those things that have been listed, all of them. You see the canned foods, the carbonated drinks, the apple, the red wines, the poultry eggs, the noodles. Those early birth vaccines they normally give. Those things they claim is to. I wonder how a healthy child being born new is the first thing given to the child is one stupid medicine. Yes, at the end of the day, you die young. But your grandfather, the great grandfathers who never knew about it, who never took it, they lived longer and healthier. Aren't you thinking about it? All those fluoridated foods, so-called even pure water and canned water, refrigerated foods, cold drinks, spices. There may not be all this, my sister waited to confirm from a doctor before she believed what I told her. That's how most of these things I'm listing out now is too. You don't wait for your enemy to come and tell you that he's after your life. You don't wait for your enemy to tell you any truth. Don't expect the truth from your enemy. So what am I trying to say? If they are in charge of your medical departments, how then do you think your medical department will come out and tell you the truth? How? So that means you should expect to hear it outside not from them, outside. And if they manage to tell you anyone that is actually truth, maybe you manage that one, because sometimes these enemies will do what? Drop one truth and then surround it, the rest, with lies. You see lipsticks? They call it, is it cut test? Q test. Air conditioner, the braziers, like I already mentioned, solar panels, telecommunication masts and poles. Most of these foreign perfumes, most digital gadgets, they utter radiations. The 5G network, of course, which is the so-called COVID-19. The COVID-19. That one is still in place, so it's still active. They are still laying down. If you check where you are staying, check around your country, you will see that they are still being laid in the ground. And so many other things. So many other things. We are just living within danger. Yes, one thing must kill a man. But why are we the one killing ourselves by ourselves? And why is someone interested in taking away your life? Why? Why is someone so much interested about you? So much interested? I understand the implication of this video. Yes, I understand. But before anything happens, you take correction. You get wise. Get wise. That's my own message. That's the message. Get wise. Know this. Yes. Because such message are not popular. Such message, they are not everywhere. So while you see this video, take it. You will remember it one day. And as long as I remain alive, you will still get more of this.